Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Ester Industries Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Gavin Desa from CDR India. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Desa.
Thank you, Janice. Good day, everyone, and a warm welcome to Ester Industries Q2 and H1 FY22 Analyst and Investor Conference Call. We have with us today Mr. Arvind Singhania, the Chairman, and Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rustagi, the Chief Financial Officer. We will begin this call with opening remarks from the management, following which we will have the floor open for an interactive Q&A session. Before we begin, I would like to point out that some statements made in today's discussions may be forward-looking in nature, and a note to this effect was sent to you in the invite earlier. We trust you have had a chance to go through the documents on financial performance. I would now like to invite Mr. Singhania to make his opening remarks. Over to you, Mr. Singhania.
Thank you, Gavin, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I have alongside with me Mr. Pradeep Rustagi, our CFO. I will begin the call with a brief overview of all our businesses, post which Pradeep will walk you through our financial performance for the quarter. We've had a good first half, as can be seen by our financials. Revenues for the first half grew by 50% over the previous year. All our businesses are performing well, and we are confident of sustaining the revenue momentum during the second half as well. Specialty polymer business, as guided earlier, has seen a sharp pickup. Our film business too maintained its volume run rate on the back of steady demand from the end user industry. Engineering plastics business clocked in yet another quarter of goods marked by higher realizations driven by higher feedstock prices. Let me now move on to individual businesses, starting with specialty polymers. As indicated earlier, we continue to see strong traction and demand for our products, translating into higher revenues and margins. Overall volumes for the business during the quarter stood at 884 metric tons as against 484 metric tons during Q2 FY21, a growth of 83%. MB03, a marquee product which finds application in the carpet industry, maintained its recent momentum, with volumes more than doubling over the previous year. In absolute terms, volumes for MB03 during the quarter stood at 240 metric tons as against 92 metric tons during Q2 FY21. After the challenges posed by the pandemic last fiscal, we were confident that the product will bounce back sharply given its inherent and unique quality and value proposition. We believe that H2 will see similar kind of numbers, if not better, for the product. Innovative PBT has also performed well with volume growth of approximately 27% over the previous years. Absolute numbers being 284 metric tons during Q2 FY22 as against 224 metric tons during Q2 FY22. 21. Innovative PBT, as many of you know, is a product we manufacture for a global chemical leader. Besides these two products, we are also witnessing good response for some of our newly introduced products, which gives us the confidence of sustaining the overall growth momentum of the business over the coming years. MB07 is one such product of which we recently started commercial sales. Volumes for the product during Q1 FY22 stood at 74 metric tons, while for Q2 we clocked in volumes of 262 metric tons. MB07, just to give you an update, is added to make polyester dyeable with deeper and darker color. We had to work hard for over 3 years before finally obtaining the customer's approval. We are confident of the product and expect the volume to scale up steadily over the coming quarters. We have also commenced commercial sales of LNC03. We are close to achieving techno-commercial qualification for yet another innovative product, MB60. As indicated in our earlier call, we expect the volume for LNC03 to pick up significantly over the next 2 to 3 years, while we envisage potential for sizable sales volume for MB16. I would just like to reiterate again that we remain positive on the business and expect the strong performance to continue over the coming years. The belief largely stems from the traction we are witnessing for existing as well as newly introduced products. Our product pipeline as well remains exciting, giving us the confidence to lower business dependency on a particular product. Besides volume growth, rising feedstock prices, which are crude-based, resulted into revenue from operations increasing from 12 crores to 46 crores. As a result, EBIT for the specialty polymers SBU stood at 36.9%. Eliminating the feedstock prices from raw material consumption and revenue from operations, the EBIT margin during Q2 FY22 would have been about 50%. Moving on to the film business. This is increased feedstock prices. Film SBU, excluding chip sales, clocked a revenue of rupees 195 crores during the quarter under review, a growth of 3% over the previous year. Margin compressed during the quarter owing to the excess supply following commissioning of new capacities. High shipping freight costs exerted pressure on volume and margins as far as export business is concerned. As I have been reiterating, the domestic demand continues to grow at about 11 to 12% on an annual basis. Performance of the SBU would have been better but for the production loss due to shutdown of the film plant number 2 undertaken for a few days during the quarter for maintenance. Eliminating the impact of increase in feedstock prices from raw material consumption and revenue from operations, the EBIT margin during Q2 FY22 would have been about 17%. While margin/profitability scenario is likely to remain subdued over short to medium term, mitigation strategy focusing on enhancing volume of value-added and offline coated products is being pursued relentlessly. The share of value-added products during the quarter stood at 20%. We believe that we are very much on track on our guidance for increasing the value-added mix to 30% of the overall product mix by March 23. Despite the near-term challenges, we believe the demand-supply equation continues to be favorable for the business on a long-term basis by a wider expanse of application. A quick word on our new plant at Telangana before I move on to engineering plastics business. As many of you may recall, we are setting up a new greenfield unit with 48,000 tons per annum state-of-the-art plant in Telangana through our wholly owned subsidiary at a cost of rupees 587 crores. Work on the plant is progressing as per schedule, and we expect the unit to commence commercial production by October 2022. We believe the new unit will help us better serve our customers besides adding to the overall growth of the business. Moving on to engineering plastics business. Q2 saw yet another quarter wherein the business registered a healthy revenue run rate. Revenues for the quarter stood at 74 crores as against 49 crores during Q2 FY21, higher by 51%. Though realizations have improved largely owing to rising input costs, margins in percentage terms were lower on sequential basis. Eliminating the impact of increase in feedstock prices from raw material consumption and revenue from operations, the EBIT margin during Q2 FY22 would have been about 34%. As I mentioned earlier, the margins which we have been generating in recent quarters are not sustainable in the long run, and we should expect some moderation. Having said that, we remain committed towards maintaining reasonable margins in the business by improving our product mix, and we certainly expect the relocation of the unit to add to the profitability of the business. Shifting the unit will not only help us better serve the customers, but will also help us cut down on the logistical expenses, which should improve the operational efficiency of the business. To conclude, I would just like to state that all our businesses are performing well and are well positioned to deliver consistent returns over the coming year. Specialty polymer business has demonstrated its resiliency by delivering strong performance during the first half, and we expect the buoyancy to continue in the second half of the fiscal as well. As far as film business is concerned, long-term prospects of the business are good, though in near to short term we may see moderation of margins. As far as engineering plastics business is concerned, we expect the same to perform well on the back of improved demand. Current levels of margin, as I have mentioned, may not be sustainable, but we expect the same to be remunerated given our decision to relocate the plant. Furthermore, our internal measures as well towards improving the profitability of the business should contribute positively to the overall business. That concludes my opening remarks. I now hand over the floor to Pradeep to walk you through our financial performance. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I will quickly walk you through our financial performance for the quarter and half year ended September 30th, post which we can begin the Q&A session. Starting with the top line, revenues from operations stood at rupees 333 crores as against rupees 251 crores reported during Q2 FY21, higher by 33%. On a half yearly basis, revenues stood at rupees 652 crores as against rupees 439 crores, higher by about 50%. The growth is on account of traction in specialty polymers and engineering plastics and increase in realization consequent to increase in feedstock prices, which are crude-based products. EBITDA for the quarter stood at rupees 59 crores as against rupees 73 crores generated during Q2 FY21, while on a half-yearly basis, it stood at rupees 123 crores as against rupees 126 crores generated during H1 FY21. EBITDA margin for the Q2 FY22 reduced to 17.7% as compared to 29.1% a year ago. Eliminating the impact of increase in feedstock prices from raw material consumption and revenue from operations, the EBITDA margin during Q2 FY22 would have been about 23%. Lower profitability during the quarter was primarily on account of lower profitability in film business. Moderation in profitability of film business was partially made good by strong performance of specialty polymers and EP SBUs. Finance costs for the quarter remained steady at rupees 5 crores as against rupees 5 crore outgo reported during Q2 FY21, while on a half-yearly basis, the same stood at rupees 10 crores as against rupees 8 crore outgo reported during H1 FY21. As of 30th September 21, our outstanding interest-bearing term debt net of free cash stood at rupees 160 crores, while interest-bearing working capital liabilities stood at rupees 49 crores. Interest-bearing debt net of free cash as a multiple of annualized EBITDA remained at a comfortable level of 0.85 as on 30th September 21. We are committed towards maintaining better than prudent debt equity levels going forward. Depreciation for the quarter stood at rupees 10 crores as against rupees 9 crore reported during Q2 FY21, while for the first half the same stood at rupees 19 crore as against rupees 17 crores during H1 FY21. Profit for the quarter stood at rupees 33 crore as against rupees 46 crore generated during Q2 FY21. While for the first half the same stood at rupees 71 crores as against rupees 75 crores generated during H1 FY21. To conclude, I would just like to reiterate that we are confident of sustaining the recent growth momentum. All our businesses are well placed to perform consistently over the coming years and create value for our shareholders. Thanks. Over to Gavin.
So can we begin with the Q&A session now? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor and Company. Please go ahead.
Namaskar, sir, and thank you for the opportunity. Sir, firstly, sir, if you could give the details for how the raw material basket behaved, sir, for this quarter, and its comparison with the first quarter.
So during this quarter, the raw material cost PTA MEG per kg of chips was about 75 rupees, whereas the September 20 it was only 45 rupees.
And I was asking for June, sir. June to September.
June 21 it was 72 rupees.
Okay. And so that means there was not a lot of volatility. The prices were in the linear trend.
September, yes, there was not much volatility, but compared to September 20, there was a significant increase, almost about 80%, 85%.
And sir, how have been the month for October? So we have seen that various commodity prices have been moving haywire post the exit of the month of September in the month of October. So have you seen any significant change with respect to the PTA and MEG prices?
Yeah, so September quarter it was 75 rupees, but the month of October was 80. And between October and November, there has not been any volatility. The raw material rate is about 80, 81 in the month of November so far.
Right, sir. And sir, further regular details can you give? What is the PTA prices and MEG prices month on month?
Yeah, so September quarter, the PTA price was about 66 rupees. MEG was 55. In the month of October, the PTA was 69, but MEG was 62. And then November, the MEG PTA prices are 70, but the MEG has dropped to 60 rupees.
Okay, but it is still hovering in a 5 to 8% band, not significantly.
Yeah. September, October, November is more or less stable. October, November is absolutely identical.
Right, sir. And sir, about the new projects, sir, where are we in midst of that, and what amount of fund we have drawn, and what is the update on the current greenfield project, sir?
The project is very well placed. It is going as per schedule. Our original schedule was for startup in October 22, and the schedule is being maintained. There is no delay. All the funds, the financial closure for the project has taken place, and we are absolutely on track on every account.
Right, sir. Sir, total cost of the project and how much fund have we drawn, and what are the interest rate terms for the same?
So we have a project cost of 587 crores, which is to be funded by 176 crore of equity. Out of that, 154 crore, as we speak now, 15th November, we have invested 54 crores. The term loan, foreign currency loan, euro-denominated loan, the disbursement has started. Till 30th September, it was about 3.5 crore. But in the month of October, there has been significant disbursement of about 14 crores. Rupee term loan, the documentation part is completed. The disbursement is expected by end of November. Foreign currency loan is at about 2% per annum. Rupee term loan is about 8% per annum. The working capital, which will come in due course of time, would be at about 7.5 to 8% per annum. So all in cost would be about 5.5 to 6% per annum.
Sir, for the euro loans, any hedging we have to go, or it will be a natural hedge against the specialty polymers and other products being export denominated?
Against our exports.
Okay, and what was our export mix, sir, for the first half? Total out of the total revenue, what proportion was?
Polyester film, the export mix is about 30%.
And if we take the total mix of the total sales of 333 crore, what proportionate?
Yeah, just hold on for a minute. You can ask another question. I'll just share the exact number.
Correct, sir. My next question is attributed to the specialty.
May I please request you to return to the question queue for your follow-up, as we have other people waiting for their turn?
Yes, ma'am. I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Rajesh Agarwal from Money Ore Investment. Please go ahead.
So your comments on margin, how going forward, how the margins will play out, and the capex?
In what product?
In all products, basically film.
Okay, so as far as the margins in polyester film are concerned, up to now in the third quarter, we are witnessing a slightly better margin in polyester film compared to Q2. As far as specialty polymer is concerned, the margins are steady, as I've always maintained before, that it's a pass-through model. So the margins are maintained. In absolute terms, the margins are maintained, and will be maintained for long time to come, because these are specialty products, so there is really no competition. And as far as the engineering plastics is concerned, the margins have been extremely good, and they expect to remain extremely good for the short to medium term.
And the capex?
To the composition of.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell me, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. And the focus on capex?
The capex, as just mentioned, we have a capex of 587 in our wholly owned subsidiary for polyester film, which is expected to start production by October 22. That will add about 48,000 tons of film capacity.
And when will it come in stream?
October 22. October 2022.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
The next question is from the line of Sonal Kohli from Bowhead Investment. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. I had broadly two queries. The first one pertains to polyester films. So if I'm seeing the data correctly, the absolute profits, not the margins, in polyester films has fallen to maybe a 10-12 quarter low. What is the reason behind that, and was it this fall led by the domestic market or by the export market, or both?
It was both, actually, because some new capacities have started up globally, And also the polyester film was affected quite badly because of increase in freight rates, which ate away into export margins. So increase in raw material prices, freight rates going up, some other costs going up domestically because of power and transportation, etc. So it was a combination of many factors that contributed to this.
And sir, why the domestic market? Because based on all the previous conversations we had, there are no imports in India, So did any new capacity come in India as well, or because you were not able to export, therefore those capacities got diverted to India to that extent, and that's what impacted the domestic profits?
Yeah, while there are no imports or no significant imports coming into India, but at the end of the day, it's a global economy now. So even if domestic capacity has not increased, global capacity has increased. To that extent, your export margins come under pressure, and therefore more volume is available in India.
Oh, I see. Would you have some data about the industry, sir, in terms of like how much was the exports impact, or let's say for you, how much was the exports in tonnage in Q2 21 versus let's say Q2 22, or versus Q1 22? Whatever you can say.
I don't have that right now, but I can give it to you offline.
Understood. So, sir, this 28 crore kind of run rate which you achieved, is that here to stay? Your second lowest run rate has been actually 35, 36 crore in last 12 quarters. So, that's what we are trying to understand. And has any new capacity started in India also?
Yeah. So, like I said, the third quarter is showing better margins over second quarter, and new capacities are expected to start up in the next few months. So I think one line will start up in the third quarter, another line will start up in the fourth quarter, and so on. There'll be more lines coming in over the next 2 to 3 years.
Sir, my second question pertains to specialty polymers. What I wanted to ask, obviously because of crude, the previous numbers which you guided, let's say 1.5 years back, wouldn't be valid because this is cost plus and you're able to pass on. So, and the profit has been pretty robust, So how do you see the second half for you in specialty? The 17 crore kind of EBIT profit, is it sustainable? And now what kind of revenue are you expecting for the full financial year and year ahead, assuming these crude prices, because crude has doubled, so I'm sure that, the revenues wouldn't remain the same.
Yeah. So I in the beginning of the year, at the end of the first quarter, I had given a guidance of 130 to 135 crores revenue for the whole year. In the first half, we have already achieved about 80 crores, 81 crores revenue. So I maintain the guidance that we have given. We should be able to repeat the first half and the second half as well. And as you can see, and they will remain robust.
And the profitability would remain around this, let's say, 30 crores level, which we have in the first half and the second half also.
Yes. Margins is not an issue here, because there is no pressure in absolute numbers. The percentage fall in margin because of raw material price increase, that's another story.
No, sir, I was referring to the fact that with the opening of the US market, are you expecting any further increase as compared to, what you've already delivered? That's what my question was referring to.
It will. I think for the second half will remain pretty much the same because US market is starting to open up slowly.
Understood. And any new product launches we expect over the next 6 months?
Any new what?
Products in the space we are planning to launch in next 6 months?
We have one or two products which are in the pipeline, but I am afraid I cannot talk in detail about that right now.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ravi Nagda, individual investor. Please go ahead.
सर गुड मॉर्निंग सर, गुड आफ्टरनून सर. सर मैं जो पूछना चाहता हूँ सर, ये जो स्पेशलिटी पॉलीमर का जो बिजनेस है, तो अभी जो मार्केट में दूसरी लिस्टेड कंपनियां हैं उनको जो वैल्यूएशन मिल रहा है वो 50 टाइम पी पे मिल रहा है. तो सर क्या हम इसको डीमर्जर करने के बारे में सोच सकते हैं? स्पेशलिटी पॉलीमर.
We don't have any such concrete plans right now to demerge the specialty polymer business.
Okay, sir. And now, sir, LMC 03 प्रोडक्ट की कितनी सेल्स हो सकती है सर अगले साल, नेक्स्ट ईयर में?
It's going to pick up slowly because the product stands approved. Techno-commercially, the product stands approved. The customer is starting to introduce it. It's a very big product launch that's going to take place, and that's going to start in the first quarter of next calendar. So depending on the success, I think we may see some good volumes coming in 2022, but the major increase in volumes will start from 23 onwards.
And there is also a product called LMC 07?
That is not a major product.
Okay. And ME16?
ME16 is already on its advanced stages of approval. I think we might start seeing volumes from next year.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pratap Makwana, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Congratulations for this fantastic result. I have 4 questions, so I will repeat one by one. Sir, in this quarter, you have shown a one-time inventory cost. So hopefully that one-time inventory cost will realize into the less raw material for the upcoming quarter and will realize in the better EBITDA. And my second question is the upcoming production realization from October 21 from the Telangana plant. How much contributions will be there for the export revenue from this plant, and the Dahej plant will come into the operational from which month of the next year? My third question is that annual maintenance shutdown plan in which month and for how many days? And my fourth question, sir, is the continuation from the last investor meet from the last quarter. The energy enhancement project which regularly getting carried away, and it is benefiting in terms of the energy. You can throw the light on the furnace oil prices, because the furnace oil is not the burning commodity, it's a heating commodity, indirect heating commodity, and the rice husk is not much more impacted into the fuel price, and so it will not affect the energy prices, but energy prices will be sustained, and so that will not affect the revenue in terms of the going forward. So how much will be the contribution and the sustenance will be there going forward for this? So these are my 4 questions, sir.
So as far as the export volume from Telangana project is concerned, we would be exporting close to 30 to 40% of the production from Telangana in the overseas market. The Dahej, it is not Dahej. We are shifting Indian plastic unit to Baroda, and that should start operations by July 22. On the annual maintenance, it's a phased, sort of maintenance plan. We have 3 different plans. Each plan is undertaken for annual maintenance, depending on the availability of spares, etc. And energy cost is, we are hardly using any quantity of furnace oil. Furnace oil is used as a standby when there is less availability of husk or there is some pressure on supply of husk. But husk prices have also gone up because of the heavy rainy season. This time the husk prices have also gone up. So energy cost, the power cost is we are drawing from the State Electricity Board, and that's going to remain constant till March of 22.
Yeah, and one-time inventory cost which you have shown for this quarter. Yeah.
No, there is no inventory loss in the quarter ended September 21.
22.
21. September 22, Q2 SY 22.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, if you wish to ask a question, please press star, then 1 on your touchtone telephone. The next question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor and Company. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So you were explaining about the export mix.
Yeah. So out of 333, 106 crore is the export, 46 crore of special polymer, 50 and Indian plastics 9 crore. So about 32 at company level, 32 crores is the 32%. 32%.
Right. Sir, in the film business, sir, if globally you could explain us what are the dynamics in play since it's a global foray altogether and any capacity change globally or demand supplies screwing on any side will have an impact. So how is the global capacity and the demand aligned, and what can we expect in terms of the pricing going forward globally?
Girish, are you there?
Yes. Yeah. Would you respond, Girish?
Yes, sir.
So please respond to this question.
I think there are few capacities planned across the globe, and the capacity always comes in some bunches. And I think going forward, there's some capacity expansion happening in India. Few lines are coming, and then few capacity expansion is happening in China as well. So this time, the change what we are seeing that expansion is also happening beyond India and China, and in US also, in Africa also. So does that answer your question? Or you have anything specific to ask?
Sir, I was looking at the material impact. माने अगर हमारी annualized demand growth जो देखते हैं हम product की, उसके हिसाब से जो capacity built up अभी हो रहा है, how is that getting aligned? Whether it is the demand that succeeds the supply or vice versa?
See, in any case, there is always a gap between when the capacity gets added and the demand goes on at a much flatter curve, and capacity comes in bunches. So there are capacity expansion plans which were planned in last couple of years, but those expansions were impacted due to COVID. Now those capacity expansions are coming on stream. But let's say if we look at 5 to 7 year period, so the capacity expansion and the demand expansion in this period is aligned. There is no issue.
Sir, out of the total annual requirement domestically for the country, how much is met through the Indian players and how much is met through import?
See, there is hardly any import coming of polyester film in India. So largely the production, whatever happens in India is, let's say I would say that 70-80% is supplied to domestic market, rest is exported.
Out of the total production in the country, 70-80% is being consumed and 20% is being exported.
Yes, 20 to 30% is exported.
So there is surplus in the country if that match works, or are we doing export for our clients' specific purpose?
So in polyester film business, this particular business, India is a major exporting hub for this product. So there is always, let's say, the capacity in excess of domestic supply, because we have as a country, we have good clientele base for supplying films across the globe.
Right, sir. And for this higher value-added films part, I think so we did some capex also 15 months ago. Where are we in midst of that, and what is the percentage of the value-added films of the total proportionate for this quarter and for the first half?
So I think what I can say in this question is that we have invested in an offline coated capacity, which is, as we speak now, this is operating near optimum level, and then I think Pradeep ji would be able to give an update on the exact numbers. And we are also building further capacity on getting into various different kinds of value-added products. So our product development activity is going on,
So currently our proportion is in the September quarter, in terms of volume it was 20%, but in terms of value it was 28% came from the value-added and offline coated products.
Right, sir. And have we reached the optimum level, or we are going to improve on this? And how are the margins different from the other ordinary films, if I may use the term? Margin per kilo, अगर आप बताते sir.
Girish, can you answer that?
See, I think in case if we were to give an indicated number on the margin difference between these products compared to other products, so there could be, on an average, I can say it's easily the product made from offline coater are, let's say, contains a let's say incremental EBITDA margin of around 10 to 15%.
Right, sir. And any specific end user customers that we have for these customized films, the value-added films?
So
which
there
we
are
catering to?
it's going into various applications. It goes into packaging, it goes into decorative, it goes into very, very different kind of industries. It's a broad based.
Right, sir. And if we take our customer profile, 5% and above, sir, which industry are we catering to?
So film business largely serve packaging customers.
Yes, sir. But yes, so didn't get you, sir. Hello.
So in film business, the bulk of the volume goes to flexible packaging users.
Right, sir. And the key customers, sir, can you mention who are our key customers?
We cannot reveal the names of our customers.
Name of the customers cannot be revealed.
Okay. Right. Thank you, sir. I'll come in the queue.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, if you wish to ask a question, please press star then 1 on your touchtone telephone. The next question is from the line of Surendra, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, my question is regarding this. In Telangana, we are putting polyester film plant. So we are also putting polyester sheet plant there?
Not yet. Not in the first phase. That will come in the second phase when we decide to go in for the second film line. Then we put up a chips plant.
So then, what will be the sourcing?
So there are plenty of options available to us to buy the polymer for the film plant.
And there one more question. This is specialty polymer. MB03, sir, what will be our target for FY22 and FY22?
MB03. FY23?
Yeah.
It will be about 15 to 1700 tons.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ravi Nanda, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Sir, what is the status of specialty polymer capex that we have announced last time, 80 crore capex?
Yeah, that is ongoing and it's in phases. So the first phase should be complete by June or July of August of next year.
August 22.
August 22.
August. And sir, what is the turnover that we hope to achieve with this 80 crore capex turnover?
Well, it's not only because of this 80 crores. This is not for the short term. It is part of an ongoing performance of specialty polymers over a longer period of time. So over a period of the next 3 to 4 years, we expect to reach a turnover of about 400 to 500 crores.
And in the 80 crores, we are not only spending on the polymerization, we are also spending a lot of money on the utilities, balancing of the utilities.
And sir, what is the target of revenue target next year for specialty chemical polymer business? Next year?
It will be much better than FY22.
300 crore we can expect.
We'll give you that number towards the end of this
year. We are still 6 months away from closure of this financial year.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Arnav Kapoor, from an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. Just 2 questions. One is on the value-added piece on the polyester film. You've given a target of 27 to 30%. Is there any timeline specific that you can indicate for that?
Well, in terms of value, we've already achieved 28%. In terms of volumes, we are at about 21%. And I think within the next 1 year or so, we should be at 30%.
And from a margin perspective, do you expect to maintain like late teens, or it can go back up into 20% and plus?
So the incremental margin from offline coated products will be in the incremental over and above the normal films. Should be in the region of about 10 to 15% additional EBITDA margins.
Okay, thank you, sir. And the last question was on specialty polymer, given that this is like a high growth area for us. From a people perspective, do we have the right, set of team on the ground, or you're also looking to ramp up from an R&D perspective and from a sales perspective?
Well, currently we have the requisite number of people with the desired skill set already available, and as and when we keep needing additional people, we are fully adequate right now.
Okay, thank you, sir. That's it. Thank you, much. That's it. Bye.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor & Company. Please go ahead.
Sir, what should be the likely peak debt for us when the project at the start of commissioning of the project? What would be the cash accruals that will be attributed further, or we will be keeping the ratio at the 30-70 mark itself? Whatever has the contribution being, the remaining will be from the debt only. These cash flows will not be utilized for the capex.
Yeah, in Telangana, initially, whatever cash accruals are there would be used for repayment obligations and for building up, reducing debt, improving the debt leveraging. So we would undertake capex only when it is at most necessary and important.
No, sir, I was just looking for the utilization of cash from our standalone.
That's exactly what Pradeep has explained, that in Telangana, in the initial part, we will use the to reduce the debt.
So what are the current key risks for our industry, and what steps can be taken in our hands so that we can mitigate those risks going forward, sir? Especially the film business?
Sir, there are really, I don't see, apart from any God-given calamity, I can't talk about that. But in generally speaking, as far as the specialty polymer and engineering plastics businesses are concerned, the risk levels are very low in specialty polymer business especially. I don't see many major risks there. As far as film business is concerned, it would largely be the capacity creation, which could create a short to medium term imbalance in demand supply. And for the biggest mitigation there would be in two ways. Number one, keep our debt very low, which we already have, and number two, increase the value-added products to take care of the fall in margins of the commodity films with specialty films. So both these things are underway concurrently.
Yes, sir. And sir, what should be the explanation for the decrease in the margins for the engineering plastics? If you answer, sir, I missed the point. Quarter on quarter, we see the margins reduce, although the turnover has moved up from 59 crore to 74 crore. The margins, the absolute numbers are lower. So please explain that, sir.
Yeah, you are talking of Q2.
I'm talking about June, yes. June, Q1 versus Q2.
So the one of the reason is that the margins, we have explained in the previous calls, we have seen unprecedented margins in engineering plastics, so there was some moderation because the benefit of the cheaper raw material inventory that was in hand or in pipeline, that has reduced, number one. Number two, because of the margin percentage would have been almost 34% if the raw material increase had not taken place. So in fact, there is no, in terms of margin, if you take away the increase in the feedstock prices and sales value, the margins have been maintained. But because of the higher denominator, it is appearing to be low.
Okay, and here also, sir, the same feedstock is there in the same proportion, PTA and MEG.
It's all petrochemical, so it's directly linked to crude.
Right, sir. Are they, other than the one which we discussed, the PTA and MEG, other than that, there is another component also in the raw material basket?
In the engineering plastics, we are importing nylon 6,6, polycarbonate, PBT. So these are all petrochemical products.
PTA and MEG is not getting used in engineering plastics.
Sir. Can you come again, sir? My line got disturbed. What is the raw material component? Yeah.
PTA MEG is not used directly in engineering plastics. This is all polymers which are being imported.
Okay. And there also the price trends have been very erratic, sir. The prices have, along
Very
with
much
food.
similar to, in fact, worse than PTA and MEG.
Okay. You mentioned nylon 6 also, sir, as a raw material?
Yeah.
So, nylon 6 is available domestically also, sir, or we have to import? Nylon 6, I think GSFC is the only producer in the country.
हम लोग import ही करते हैं. यहाँ पे है available, but the kind of quality and grade we want is not available.
Correct, sir. Thank you for all the elaborate answers, sir, and all the best, sir. So we can expect that these margins on a sustainable basis for H2 also, sir.
Yeah.
That we can conclude, sir. Even for the engineering plastic, these are the margins that are here to stay.
Yes.
Thank you again, sir, and all the best, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I would now like to hand the conference back to the management for closing comments. Over to you all.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for the earnings call. I look forward to seeing you after the close of next quarter. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you. On behalf of Ester Industries Limited, we conclude today's conference. Thank you all for joining. You may now disconnect your lines.